the Integrity Octane Series, the regular season is still winding down. After a trip to Daytona, we have ourselves another first-time winner in the books, but there's still a bit more time before the championship chase is truly underway. So for the very first time in the second half, we'll take it back to a road course with open qualifying. Drivers on the track right now have 10 minutes and counting down to get their hot laps in, as we are now underway in qualifying for round 21 of the season. Welcome to Watkins Glen. Great to have you all watching tonight on FTN. As always, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and I was at Watkins Glen just a few days ago for the entirety of the NASCAR race week. Great to be back here in the virtual form once again, seeing drivers putting down hot laps, and I'll tell you this much, these drivers are much quicker than I am. We've seen some speeds in the mid-111s, some drivers almost breaking into the 110 barrier, and that's with the bus stop. So these guys are pushing 110% right now. Track conditions look to be favorable, so I'm sure qualifying going to be as exciting. Not more exciting than a race, but it's going to be a big part of the story. And right now, 6 minutes and 45 seconds remain with Caitlin Haight at the top of the board. She's 0.2 of a second ahead of Seth Noel. And then from there, in the third place, it will be the driver, the 51, and Tom Wetmore. Right now, the top time on the charts is a 112.077. Then we have a brand new driver in second. That's the 69 of Renato Postigo. And it looked like for the number 69, he was the fastest in practice. Keep an eye out for this Ford Mustang, another quick driver in a first attempt this season. Last week it was Chad Winstead making his very first start. He's here yet again tonight. He's a very good road course driver in these next gens, but only his second race this year, so we'll see what he's got for the field, if anything. Back up in front, Seth Noel gonna take it deep into the 111s. That's a 111.3, much quicker than that of Caitlin Haight, but Caitlin's able to drop it down to make it a 111.664, so drivers breaking into the 1 minute and 11 second space. Some drivers trying to go up to the 110s as Nick Tarbuck goes up to the top spot. Now it's going to be Nick in the number 4 machine taking it up there, pole position provisionally speaking, with a 1 minute 11.351. Open track and qualifying, so drivers are on the track with one another, so they see each other, they have to interact with each other, and you gotta make it happen. You gotta be very aware as a driver here. You see, guys might not be as quick as you. For Tarbuck, he's right behind Tom Wetmore. Wetmore is quick, but not as quick throughout the entirety of the lap, so you got to work through the traffic to make these fast laps work. Some drivers are not going to get out of your way, and right now Wetmore knows he does not want to lift. Take a look off the rear view perspective here. The 51 still seeing that Chevy Camaro, a tribute to Kevin Harvick, right behind as they take it through the apex. Once again, turn 6 onto turn 7. Back on the way, it's going to be now dropping down low. Nick Tarbuck takes it through, and just like that, it's going to be the number 4 drop down to third. Seth Noel gets back into second, and the number 69 of Renato Postigo takes it back to the top. Just like that, 1 minute 11.107. That's the fastest lap in this session, not only in qualifying, but in practice. It looks like for the first run of the year, this 69 Ford Mustang is as quick as it gets. Coming around to line yet again, that's going to be an almost dead even lap, 111.187, so still very quick. Might be the car to beat, trying to lock it down in this Ford Mustang, and if Renato wins, it would be perhaps another driver locked into the playoffs here, giving fewer drivers the opportunity to come home with a checkered flag and put themselves in gold before the regular season ends. Looks like we got a ringer up in first, and Seth Noel in second, Nick Tarbuck's in third, and Cody Smith is in fourth. Looks like Smith trying to have a bounce back from last night at the Twin Ring Motegi. Japan did not treat him all too well. Qualified outside the top 25, able to muster a top 20 run, but it looks like tonight he's got much more pace in this next gen. So how's about we take a look on board yet again and see what's going on with the number 18 of Cody Smith. And seeing how Cody Smith takes it under the Go Bowling Bridge at a speed of about 115 by the time he crosses the bridge and goes right through to the first turn, the 90-degree turn here. That's turn number 1. Gonna hit the brakes, slam them down, and as it is in the NASCAR Cup Series, it is not on iRacing. You have to be very close to the curb if you want to make your lap count. In the real world, that's not the case. But as they go by the Seneca grandstands and then to the S's, they have to be very close to the curbs or iRacing will automatically give them a time penalty. All the same, now down the DRS zone for the Formula One cars. It's the back straightaway. It would be longer, but here's the bus stop. They'll take it through, and it's going to be all about eating the curbs up. Very nice for Cody Smith, almost out of control, but now he'll take it through the carousel. Not going to the Formula One configuration. That's the extended boot portion. They're going to take it down to turn 6 and 7 now. You can get a bit wider through this area just to save some time. Now it's going to be one more left-hander and one more right-hander by the Jackie Stewart grandstand. They'll go now, and it's time to put another lap in the books. Cody Smith still going to be fourth, half a second off your pole time as he comes across the stripe yet again. The number 18 machine a bit loose off exit, but all's well that ends well. And for Cody Smith, another solid lap. That's a 112.3 in the books. Fourth place, still with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining. 15 drivers have taken time so far. Alan Dobbs has gone on the track. He's had no success in 4 attempts. So right now, 15 guys have put their laps in, and just like that, yet again, Watkins Glen going to be seen to the Integrity Racing League. Thomas Bressie won last week Monday night, but he does not race here in the Octane Series, so another driver has a chance to come home on top. Down low, Cody Smith takes it yet again. It looks like that's not going to work out all too well. Up in front, it's been consistency for the number 69. Renato Postigo still leads the way, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. A minute flat on the board as he exits the carousel. Seth Wells second, Nick Tarbuck third, and Cody Smith in fourth. Now it's going to be the number 69 back on the way down the stretch for Renato Postigo. Very first race this season, and looking very quick already. Qualifying being in this open setting allows it to be a bit more exciting. Drivers having to work with each other all throughout their laps, but right now it's been a runaway for the pole position. No chance to get another lap in right now unless time is extended any further. At the stripe, it's going to be the 69 now back on the move after a 1 minute 11.3. Road course ringing for the very first time, and it looks to be paying off very well. As it stays that way, you'll see Alan Rawell gonna hit the track for the first time in the spam, number 43. John Steele gonna be on the exit of pit road. Jorge Canales in number 84, 14th right now. And it looks like for Guillermo Alvarez, after a win at Daytona, bringing the Frosted Flakes machine up to Watkins Glen, upstate New York, gonna treat him well so far, as qualifying has 1 minute and 44 extra seconds. Time can still be made on the track, but most drivers have already put in their hot laps, so with that in mind, as the board is almost concluded, how about we give you your FTN race rundown and track information for the day. Right now, qualifying leader Renato Postigo on your screen, and he looks to become the second first-time winner in the past 2 weeks if he can lock up the victory here tonight. From last week's race at Daytona, defending winner Guillermo Alvarez is racing yet again, but a lot has changed from Daytona to Watkins Glen. Taking a look at the race information, only going to be 45 laps, and it's going to be not with an uninterrupted run. We will have one stage break that will be at lap 18. Rest of the race is scheduled to go all the way under green. Using, of course, the NASCAR Next-Gen Xfinities are going to be saved for Mondays. This is next-gen territory in the Octane Series. No fast repair or instantaneous damage repair of any sort. You gotta keep the equipment you have at the start of the race. And right now, one driver gonna pop their hood in the front bumper. That's exactly what you want to avoid, as Kyle Trudell finds himself in trouble. No damage repair, one caution to get, of course, down to pit road and make that strategy work out. And with that in mind, 45 laps for this night to play out here in, of course, upstate New York, Schuyler County's gem, Watkins Glen International. Road course racing after the Second World War began here in upstate New York in 1948. But the permanent circuit only began its use in 1956. A 7-turn configuration we're using here in the NASCAR Cup Series, coming in at just under 2.5 miles, 2.45, and just under 4 kilometers. It's been a mainstay in NASCAR since 1986, when drivers like Tim Richmond used to dominate this track. Same team Richmond drove for all those years ago has won the last 2 races in the real world. Kyle Larson in 2022 and William Byron in a 1-caution race in 2023. NASCAR and Watkins Glen have a very well-known history, and here on iRacing, the track is very well known and very well respected in the virtual realm. All the same. With that in mind, qualifying has concluded. Seth Well going to be there on your frame, and your pole sitter is due to be there in just a moment. Over 15 drivers attempted a lap here in upstate New York, the Go Bowling pit wall just beside the drivers. 1 pace lap, and then we get on our way. Only 1 caution expected, otherwise going to be all green, and we're set for one great show here in the Finger Lakes. And as the drivers stand, of course, alone on the track, the virtual fans going to be beside them in the grandstands, but nothing separates them from the action on track besides a little bit of waiting as the race is due to go on its way momentarily. Your pole sitter now in frame right beside Seth Well. It's a road course ringer and one of the most dominant men this season on your front row. How about we get to know everyone on this grid from top to bottom? Without further ado, this is your starting grid for round 21 of the Integrity Octane Series season. Let's get right into it with Renato Postigo, fastest man on the board, number 69. It's a 1:11.107 pole position with Seth Well right beside with a 1:11.288. Then from there, Nick Tarbuck going to be in the 3rd spot. Number 4 machine there with a 1:11.351, and it's going to be Guillermo Alvarez, defending winner from Daytona, putting himself in 4th with a 1:11.636, occupying the top 5. The final man to do so is Cody Smith with his 1:11.657. Then from there, Caitlin Haight in the 1:11.664 range. It's a 1:11 run for the driver of number 11. She still looks to lock into the playoffs this season, one of very few winning drivers to not do so yet due to the minimum participation rule here in this series. Tom Wetmore's already locked himself in firmly with 4 wins on the year, and Wetmore's there in the 7th place with Sam Nito right beside in 8th. Don Stevenson going to be positioned number 9th with Kyle Trudell then in 10th, and then to round out the top dozen, you'll see Jacob Fife 11th and Ross Cato 12th as Chad Winstead holds his own in the 13th position. Your Daytona stage winner back again for some more with a 1:11.029. Then it's going to be Jorge Canales with a 1:12.646 in 14th. John Steele's going to be 15th, the final man to take a time, but the grid is still occupied by many more drivers. 16th place going to be held by Victor Avila Felix in that number 27. Alan Dobbs is going to be in 17th with a 0.5, and Ryan Farrell in the number 18 position. There in the number 93, it's going to be his, yet again, Chevy Camaro just outside the top 15. Jay Ishman coming off his very first podium of the year. 06 machine qualifies 19th, and Boomer Logan is going to be 20th after a very strong run in the Ignite Series. To cap off this running order, Randy Fiash going to be scored in 21st. It's Alan Rawell 22nd in the number 43, and the 23rd driver of all those who have attempted to run tonight, Kyle Cooper, rounds out the field riding shotgun here in round 21 starting grid at Watkins Glen. And with that being said, the field warming up their tires. It's only 1 pace lap before the racing gets on its way. Will the number 69 of Renato Postigo cruise to victory on his very first attempt? Looks like right now he's been the fastest through practice and qualifying. We're going to find out whether or not he can keep it that way during the race. The iRacing official pace car off the pit road. The drivers pass by the Go Bowling Bridge, and for the first time the second half of the season, we're green in a road course. Welcome to Watkins Glen. And it's chaos in the back of the field as we load up our timing and scoring information. Huge spin for drivers, namely Don Stevenson, and it looks like the caution going to be avoided, but that's a major incident on the very first lap. Just like that, Stevenson's got some front end damage. We'll see how much longer he can keep on going, and we're not going to be able to make it out of this first lap without some incident. Let's take a look back 40 seconds here and find out just what happened. Instant replay on FTN. Caitlin Haight, Don Stevenson go into the inside of the wall there. Gonna go from the 90-degree turn inside the barrier. Stevenson spins, almost collects Kyle Trudell. That he does, and it looks like from there more drivers gonna be involved in this one. Caitlin Haight is gonna be way in the back. Ryan Farrell and Alan Rodwell both going avoided. It is chaos at the start, and you can see drivers stalled, trying to make it through. Looking at our chopper camera, it's big time disaster on the first lap. Many drivers with damage, but now they're back on the way. It's going to stay green for now. We do have a scheduled caution at lap 18, so we're going to stay on the move without much any more in regards to incidents hopefully being the case. Renato Postigo leads the way with Seth Well there in second. Top three going to be rounded out by Nick Tarbuck, and Tom Wetmore now holds fourth with a hard-charging Guillermo Alvarez working with Sam Nito. Sam going to be bringing a different set of colors from the Verizon paint scheme of just a few weeks ago. Now it is the Dent Wizard number 2 bringing back the Penske look. No scallops, but the same iconic number. This time going to be a bit of blue. Looking further back, it's a ghost town after 7th place. Jacob Fife is in 8th. Ross Cato is in 9th. Just like that, it's going to be, from there on out, multiple drivers heading down to pit road. Ryan Farrell, Kyle Trudell, Victor Avila Felix, all going to be one lap down already as the race leader makes it by the stripe yet again to make it lap 3 out of 45. A very chaotic start, that's for certain, but up in front, very few have been able to stand the test of time, even if that time has only been 3 laps. That goes to show how fast this podium is, and especially how good our leader's already been at making a gap. It's already about 0.8 of a second back to Seth Well, and for Seth, very few drivers can outclass him in such a quick manner. How about this number 69 Ford Mustang? It looks like for now, clearly the class of the field. The question is, what can be done for a driver like Seth Well, a driver like Nick Tarbuck, or even Tom Wetmore? What can they do to make it happen and perhaps get into that race-winning position? Right now, not much can be done, but it's good to be just within the realm of the podium as opposed to fading a bit further back. For Guillermo Alvarez, the regular season for now, it's not much in jeopardy. He's already locked into the playoffs now, made the minimum amount of starts required to compete, has that victory from Daytona, and just like that, the 83 machine does not have much more to worry about. But for the Frosted Flakes campaign here in Watkins Glen, a top 5 would be great. He told us last week, very confident what he was bringing to the road courses, looking to bring it home in the top 5 positions. That's where he is right now, so it looks like he's not going back on his word and trying to go forward in the charts as he chases down Tom Wetmore just ahead. Wetmore, who was of course the primary representative of the Tube Tech 200 just a week ago, ran a very good race. It only came apart at the very end where drivers got oh so risky trying to break apart the magic that Guillermo Alvarez and his team had. Simply nobody could do it, but Wetmore has been the best of all the drivers this year in terms of coming home to victory lane. 4 wins, he has been on fire. He's had multiple podium runs already in the second half, and he's looking to do it all over again. Currently scored in 4th, but if something happens up in front, who's to say he can't get it done and make it right back up there. Lap 5 now, the leaders take it to the stripe, down to the 90-degree very first corner on the track, and you can see very, very restrictive. These drivers have to ride the curb and then go from there. You can't do much more. You head onto the tarmac just beyond the red and orange curb. It's going to be an official time violation courtesy of iRacing. Right now, nobody is involved with the leader. It's been clean up ahead 5 laps in. How about we take a ride on board with our race leader in Renato Postigo? looking on to your leading driver. This is the leading man for the very first time this season, Renato Postigo, up in front of the Integrity Octane Series field and doing it very, very easily. Making it look easy, to say the least, but it is certainly a much trickier challenge. Watkins Glen have had quite a lot of sim racing experience there in the past week or so. iRacing has their own stand at the track every year, and making these curves, making the apexes, it's a lot of work. You gotta make it happen, shifting points, braking zones, watching your markers, all that, and then some, because these drivers are not doing it alone. There are other drivers on the track right now you have to keep an eye out for. If Seth Well ends up having enough speed to claw right back, you got to think of how you defend. If there's drivers ahead of you, you got to think of how you get around them, if they're lap machines or even if they are for position. It's a lot more of a thinking game, and drivers in the real world describe Watkins Glen in this configuration as the super speedway of road courses on NASCAR's schedule. It's a high-speed track. There's a lot you got to keep in mind as the night goes on, so I wouldn't be obliged, or I wouldn't feel it would be right to disagree with them. It's a very quick track, and there's a lot of high speed, and it's a somewhat simpler layout. But just because it's smaller in terms of the number of turns doesn't mean it can't deceive you. Right there, a bit of a lockup on the brakes. That's not going to be good, but it looks like Seth Well not able to make much of it. First and second still remain a second and 3/10 apart. And looking further back in the field, the battles are still brewing. Let's take a view here to the battle between Caitlin Haight and Alan Dobbs. Caitlin's going to go right up high to try to get the crossover maneuver working. You saw her try to work it down to the bottom earlier. Did not work. And even though she's got some front end damage, that Honda Accord is still charging into the top 10 and making it work quite well. Once again, with the Red Bull numbered 11 colors, it's going to be another throwback week to Red Bull and Honda's partnership in Formula One, and even though there's some damage, still a very quick driver. That time by 1 minute 13.221 for Caitlin Haight, and it looks like still good to keep on contending, trying to get in the single digits, but Alan Dobbs defending very well. You see him move up to the higher side, getting out of the carousel, was able to work it down low to keep Caitlin at bay, and now through turns 6 and 7 by the Jackie Stewart grandstand, it's going to be Dobbs right down low, and it looks like they're going to both hit their marks. Dobbs goes a bit wider that time through, and ever since major changes made to the final turn, it's been, of course, a bit easier to make it by turn 6, I should say. It's now all tarmac. In the previous scan on iRacing, which was on the service until 2021, that was all grass. So if you went a bit wide through turn 6 here, you would be on your way out of contention immediately. But you can afford to go a bit wider now. The curbs are bigger, and the tarmac is there. So if you make a mistake, it's not all doom and gloom. Certainly risky, yes, but it isn't going to end your day by slipping up just a bit through the penultimate corner. Now down the DRS zone yet again. Looks like Caitlin not able to make much of it that time by about 1/100th of a second quicker the lap prior, but that's not enough if there's anything that can be done over the long run. It looks like there's going to need to be major changes made during our stage caution if she wants to keep on competing at the head of the field. Right now, still looking at this battle. You can see Alan Dobbs there, so is Jorge Canales, and right now the number 84 machine still trying to battle into the playoffs. The bubble has been close. Ryan Farrell has been sitting on it for several weeks now, but here at Watkins Glen, it looks like Farrell's luck has not been with them. He's 17th, coming down to pit road yet again, and this is the second time he's gone in, so this might be the final moment for the number 93 Amico machine. Gonna take it right down to pit lane. Whether or not it's a retirement, not quite sure, but certainly a bad day so far for the driver who's been sitting on the bubble for several weeks. Being that 12th and final driver inside the playoffs is always risky, especially when it comes down to the final few races. If you're the last man in, you can always become the first man out, and with the way some drivers have been working as of recent, Guillermo Alvarez was not expected to have that momentum at Daytona, but he put it all together and now he's even running good at Watkins Glen. It's a good stretch of tracks for him, and when you come up to that just outside the bubble, you got a bit more confidence in your chances to make the championship hunt. For Alvarez, I'll say, must be a great feeling getting that win, but now he's got a few tracks he can hammer down in. Watkins Glen, he said he felt good at, and he's here doing very well at a road course, so certainly the best stretch of races for him, luckily for his sake, comes right before the championship quest begins. So now he's right there inside the top 12. Few drivers need to put it together a bit more, but most who have been competitive all season long are inside and even are locked in. Drivers like Wetmore, Seth Well, Nick Tarbuck, Caitlin Haight just needs to run a few more races if she wants to lock in for certain. Right now, a run inside the top 10 would do all the work she needs and then some. Going up to the higher side through the bus stop side by side, it doesn't work all too often. Does it now? No. And Caitlin's gonna have to back off and let Alan go right through. He'll get the spot right back. 10th place held by the 05, 10 laps in. And yet again, we're seeing the battle get closer. It's the only battle right now on the racing circuit as Renato Postigo leads the way by 1.6 seconds. They're side by side through turn 6. You'll see Caitlin Haight go right up high. It's a shot down to the bottom in the final corner, right through the Go Bowling Bridge. Who has more momentum? It looks like Dobbs, but it's going to be close. Side by side at the stripe. This is for 10th. Dobbs has it, but through the 90, it looks like Caitlin Haight's going to be able to wiggle it into the apex, and that's going to work wonders for her. You'll see Dobbs go wide, and she's going to get very close to contact with Alan Dobbs, but no worry, Caitlin Haight makes it through. Nice move there, pressuring the opponent into a mistake is a big tactic here in road course racing, and did it without any contact. A very nice move for that Red Bull Honda Accord, and just like that, it's going to be another position gain. Caitlin Haight on the redemption tour right now, inside the top 10. Next step is the single digits, but she's still 11 seconds away from Ross Cato, who currently finds himself in 9th. Dobbs is fading further and further back now. It looks like defending. He gave all he had inside the cockpit of that Chevy Camaro, and now Jorge Canales, just a few tenths of a second behind, is looking to make his move. That time through is about half a second faster than Alan Dobbs, looking to keep that momentum going and maybe put himself inside 11th before the stage break in just a few moments time. 12 laps in, a dozen through. It's been domination by Renato Postigo. It's Seth Well in second, Nick Tarbuck in third, and Tom Wetmore in fourth as they remain single file all throughout the pack. Right now, the closest battle is going to be right behind Tom Wetmore, as a matter of fact. Guillermo Alvarez is going to get very loose through the corners, but he'll make it work quite well all the same. Just like that, Alvarez is going to be inside the 5th position. Sam Nito is currently in 6th, and both drivers are contending to fight for the top 5. As it stands, just a few moments apart. If there's any mistake from Alvarez, Sam Nito will quickly catch up, and vice versa. Right now, not much has changed at the head of the field, but this could become a big battle that brews as Renato Postigo's in trouble down to the bottom, and it looks like that's going to be perhaps a slow down penalty as the 69 gets on its way. No signs of trouble beforehand, and just like that, it looks like a problem for the driver, the number 69. It's going to be a slow down penalty on the circuit, and just like that, dropping from a cruise control first down to third. Let's take a look at what happened here. You can see him slowing right down, and it looks like that's not the moment of the incident. Let's take a look further back and find out what happened. And going wide through the carousel there, I'm not quite sure if that's the reason in specific. Didn't look to be all too out of the norm, but coming around yet again, the 69 goes a bit further out on the curb, but nothing indicating besides that carousel. So just like that, trouble for the number 69, going to be a slow down penalty, bringing him now to the 3rd position, and it's going to be a fight up from here on out. Now we'll take it back to your live feed on FTN, and Renato goes down to pit road here. Just like that, going to come in from what was the lead 2 laps ago, now outside the podium. Seth Well leads the way, and just like that, finds himself up in front of Nick Tarbuck, Tom Wetmore, Guillermo Alvarez, and Sam Nito. In addition, Cody Smith came down to pit road that time by. Might not be related, but both drivers opting to go in early before the second stage gets on its way, perhaps to get some more track position on the way out and make sure it's a bit easier to run to the end of this event. Now Seth's got that major advantage, 14 laps in, 3.3 seconds inside the top two. They're separate by that amount. Right now for Seth, it is indeed cruise control. Just like that. Top three now going to be 3 seconds. And now even double that. Tom Wetmore is going to be right there in the number 51 machine. And for Tube Tech, inside the podium now from what was outside the top 5. Some drivers have come down to pit road. And just like that, Wetmore on the move. 14 laps through, finds himself in third. Guillermo Alvarez is going to be fourth now, and he's been able to clear Sam Nito. Sam going to fade further back and put himself into fifth. Jacob Fife is sixth right now, and Ross Cato is in seventh, with Caitlin Haight eighth and Alan Dobbs ninth. Renato Postigo fades back, gets that pit stop, and is now in 10th, getting right to the back bumper of Alan Dobbs, just about 2 seconds away, and already climbing through the pack. And now it's about a third of the way through this event, and time has been flying. For a dominant lead, Renato Postigo goes down to pit road, and now Seth Noel leads the way. Number 9 going to be out in front, 2.5 seconds ahead of Nick Tarbuck. Going to put Victor Avila Felix down to a third lap down. Just like that, the number 27 in the 15th place heads behind the leader, and is now going to be swallowed up by the field. Lets him go quite easily. Now gets back on the move. Boomer Logan going to be 5 laps down, back on the way. Ryan Farrell going to be 6 laps down. He's on the move as well. And Jay Haishman's 9 laps down, with John Steele 10 laps down. Alan Rawell is 20th, and the final driver still inside the session. Kyle Cooper and Kyle Trudell are the only true retirees right now, and we'll see whether or not drivers like Rawell choose to join that pair of Kyles. So far, they have chosen not to, so maybe there's a chance they keep it on the track. Now going to be Seth Well down to pit road. Same for Guillermo Alvarez, Sam Nito, and Jacob Fife. Just like that, drivers are coming through for their first pit stop of the day, and it looks like many drivers choosing to prioritize the rest of the race as opposed to winning this stage. Nick Tarbuck not going to do the same for now. See whether or not he comes down to pit road momentarily. Still a lot of time to make that decision, but nothing indicating he'll come down to pit road just yet. Seth Well going to be back on the way, scored in 5th, and it's going to be Renato Postigo in 7th. Alan Dobbs going to split the two up right now, so Seth able to make it happen, even though he had a slower pit stop. That slowed down penalty for the 69 keeps Seth out in front. The difference between their pit stops was 1.6 seconds, so that's not anything minor by any means. All the same, it is going to be Seth up in front. Renato gets the back bumper there of Dobbs, and Allen is not going to be moving. Tom Wetmore comes down to pit road as well, as we see a battle now for the 6th position. What can Alan Dobbs do to hold on here? That remains to be seen as we look off the quarter panel camera here for the 05. And Allen going to lose placement there on the apex, but still giving the former leader a very tough time. This is for position after all. He'd love to keep every spot he can get. He's racing for points right now. Renato is not, so it looks like for Dobbs, he's going to try to keep on fighting it, but not much more he can do now. Up to the high side on the exit of the 90. Now through the S's, it's going to be Dobbs up high, and the number 69 right down low. Side by side, Dobbs yet again has a minor advantage. It might be enough to go through the bus stop once more up in front, and that it is. Dobbs gonna now be in 5th. Another driver comes down to pit road. That was Wetmore, as stated before, and just like that, gonna be some wiggling. These two drivers are getting it real rough here down the stretch. It's through the carousel yet again. Renato goes down low. He'll tag Dobbs, and he's gonna almost send him spinning, but Dobbs will get it back going yet again. How about that? Alan Dobbs gets moved out the way, loses a spot to the Tom Wetmore 51 that goes right by, cruises through, almost in the grass, and just like that, 18 laps in, white flag on the stage, it's Nick Tarbuck up in front, looking to take home the stage victory here in the number 4 Chevrolet Camaro. He's got that advantage right now. Looking at the bus stop yet again. How about this stage? It's been drama all throughout. Pit road mayhem, slow down penalties, and some late stage action fighting for every position. Nick Tarbuck has chosen not to pit. He's kept his nose clean, and it looks like at the end of 2 more turns, he'll opt to come down a pit road, of course under yellow, and take home his stage win here in Watkins Glen. Coming around this time by through the final turn, under the Go Bowling Bridge, and it looks like it's going to be a deal that is sealed. At the line, Nick Tarbuck going to come home and take the stage win, and it's going to put him back on top as we head to our first and only scheduled caution of the night. Nick Tarbuck going to be your stage winner, and the caution set to come out momentarily, waiting on the final battles outside of the top 10 to conclude, and we'll put it back under pacing for the first time tonight. Tarbuck is your stage winner, and the caution due to come out right about now as he begins to slow down here. Looks like he's waiting on the yellow flag, and it has not yet come out. Ross Cato in the second spot gonna group himself up to him, and it looks like there's a reason why. Last time we went to a road course at Sonoma, there was a pace car trouble, so the field is trying to bunch up before they see the pace car to make sure that they don't have to go around an extra lap and waste fuel to catch up to that pace car that we mentioned. Nick Tarbuck is your stage winner. The caution has come out, and now 19 laps in, Tarbuck is cruising under yellow. And the field looks to catch up right now to that number 4. And you can see Ross Cato is going to be scored second. Caitlin Haight's going to be third. And it's Seth Newell now in fourth. So some big stage points for Caitlin. And that's going to be huge in locking herself into the playoffs later in the season. Ross Cato, who's been on a hot streak as of recent, looking to put the momentum back on. Getting this podium in the stage is some good bonus points for him. Nick Tarbuck gets the best of it, and right now, under yellow, the pace car right ahead. No worries, as we're under caution for the first time tonight. And the yellow flag has fallen for the first stage of the day here in Watkins Glen. How about we get an interview with the driver from our stage win? It's Nick Tarbuck and his Chevy Camaro on top here in stage 1. The pace car now going to be just ahead of him. So let's get a word with your stage winner here in round 21. Nick Tarbuck leading the way so far, almost halfway in. How do you feel so far up in front of the field?
Oh man, it's interesting. Not used to having run this long in a road course without wrecking the car yet. So still a long race to go, but we'll see. Feels good. Seth is definitely pretty fast. Renato's class of the field. So if they get up here, it's going to be challenging, but we'll see how it goes.
And some strategy being played early by both of those drivers coming down a pit road. So what's the game plan for you here? Of course, looks like every driver going to have to make at least one stop.
Yeah, I was under the impression that if they were to get back up here, I wouldn't have a chance at winning anyway. They're just too fast. So I decided to take the stage point or playoff point or whatever and see what happens this second half of the race here. I have good pace. It's a long second half, so I should be able to make my way through who I need to and maybe get back up into the top 3 here.
And it looks like podium is the big hope. Of course, bonus points already in play, and road courses. We haven't seen all too many in the second half, so how's it been like adapting to the twists and turns for the first time since, I believe, late May?
Yeah, man, I love them in this car. Next-gen car is just so fun on road courses. You can really throw it around. You got to be careful, but I'm not complaining. Really enjoy it. And now we just see if we can nail this pit stop.
And coming down a pit road, this time through any specific plans, just 4 tires and fuel?
4 tires and fuel, baby. Simple as that.
And looking to keep it simple up in front for the first stage of the day, Nick Tarbuck, your stage winner. Any final thoughts?
No, sir. Thank you very much.
And there we have it, Nick Tarbuck, stage winner. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man.
And Nick, one of the many drivers who's on the way right now down to pit road. He's going to take a multitude of the field right there with him. So let's take a look at your pit exit camera and see who comes out the quickest. Ross Cato going to have a bit of an advantage there. He'll make it right out. So Ross Cato wins off pit road, and it looks like he might have gone for a two-tire strategy, as Nick Tarbuck is going to be able to beat out the rest of the field on pit road, to say the least. Alan Dobbs going to be on the way. You'll see Boomer Logan going through as well. And very few drivers coming out quickly. Many like Don Stevenson and Caitlin Haight looking to get some damage repaired to compete further into the going. That damage on the front end, it is not necessarily permanent, but it'll take a lot of time to get it all repaired. Caitlin Haight's now going to be back on the way. She's satisfied with what she got done on pit road, so damage might be relieved entirely there. And now Seth Well finds himself up in front. The number 9 machine leads the way right now with Renato Postigo in second, Tom Wetmore third, Guillermo Alvarez in fourth, Sam Needle fifth, and just outside the top 5, Cody Smith, position number 6. Representing Next Level Racing, the highest quality sim racing performance products for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. A premier partner of the Integrity Racing League, giving out a sim rig worth $2,000 to the champion of the Octane Series, your defending series champion, Cody Smith, looking to go back-to-back this year, and he's representing our premier partner here in this league on Mondays and Tuesdays, all the same. Be sure to check out nextlevelracing.com after tonight's broadcast. We'd love to have you as a part of the Next Level Racing family as well, and we'll be right back on FTN before the racing goes green with a brief message courtesy of our friends at Next Level Racing. As we return 22 laps in out of 45, that's your first Next Level Racing promotional break of the day, and just about halfway into this race already. It's been a great one. Once again, your top 2 drivers, as Nick Tarbuck said, the class of the field, and Renato Postigo and Seth Noel back in front. Just like that, leading the way, and it looks like the 69 machine gonna try to redeem himself there. He's got a lot of time to come home with the win, so maybe now is the time to get by Sethwell, boost on past, and go back into cruise control. The question is, can Sethwell hold on? He was about as quick during that last 5-lap stint that both drivers were on, and right now, it might become a bit more about the long game. Seth knows a bit more about how Ronaldo drives, so he might have a chance to combat it as the race goes on, and perhaps defend his own chance for the victory, which he could be part of the battle till the end. The iRacing official pace car going to be out in front once more. It's going to be the 69 and the number 9 first and second. Tom Wetmore going to be third. Guillermo Alvarez is going to be fourth, and it is Sam Nito in fifth. Let's get right into it once again for your first restart of the day. 24 laps to go and counting down. It's going to be after stage 1. What else but stage 2? Ronaldo is going to be up high. It's Sethwell right down low, and the pace car is down and in. Green flags out for the first restart of the day, and Sethwell gets a blinding jump. And for Seth, that's exactly the launch that he needed, as it looks like Postigo's in trouble all the way up to the high side there. Tom Wentworth's now going to be on the charge, and it looked like he would be up there with Seth Well at this point, but it looks like now the rest of the field is charging closer and closer to the head of the field as well, and it might be a bit more of an even race up in front. Just like that, Seth Well finds himself up ahead. 23 laps to go, heading to 22 this time by in one of NASCAR's most scenic locations, upstate New York. We'll bring you all the best views with the best cameras on iRacing. Track cams for Gormans provide over 100 track and car combinations for iRacing camera solutions. Check them out at trackcams22.com as we crank it up with 22 laps to go, courtesy of trackcams22.com and Track Cams for Gormans. From Watkins Glen International, 19 laps remain here in round 21, and all of a sudden, Seth Well finds himself up in front, leading the way right now just ahead of Renato Postigo, and it looks like Tom Wetmore's there in third. It's been a bit of a mix-up here ever since the restart, but it looks like Renato able to regain his footing and now finds himself just behind the man who leads this race. That is indeed still Seth Well, but it could change as they go through the carousel. It looks like Seth is losing time and losing time quick. Looking right behind him, you can see the lead has shrunk to only about a quarter of a second as it stands right now. As they go through turns 6 and 7, that stands to continue decreasing time after time. It looks like Seth Well losing time all throughout the circuit. And with time running out, it's not the worst thing in the world. He just has to hold on a bit longer if he wants to seal the deal with victory. But so far, it looks like that's not going to be the case right now, at least. It's going to be Renato Postigo down to the bottom. He looks low, does not choose to take it, and once again, right through the corner number 1, the 90. Not gonna make a move. He'll pounce later in the lap. Right behind him through the S's. It's gonna be a tenth of a second separating your top two drivers. 18 laps remain as it stands, and it looks like Seth Well gonna go up to the high side here. Through the bus stop, no major movement. As you see the entry camera, nothing gonna come of it. It's still gonna be Seth up in front, and it looks like Renato gonna back it down just a bit, trying to intimidate the number 9 into making a mistake. But right now, representing Coca-Cola, he's done no such thing, and Seth will not back down. Goes a bit wide yet again. No worry, back on the track. They're going to be swerving back and forth, and it looks like now Renato's up high, the closest he's been to the lead all restart long. Now he goes way wide through there. That's what cost him last time. Does it cost him again? It looks like for now, it has not. Coming down to the stripe, make it 17 laps to go. Seth still leads, and it's going to be Postigo there in second. Tom Wetmore remains in third, just behind, and Guillermo Alvarez is in fourth. And it looks like right now the top two drivers have not been able to break away as big as they did the time beforehand. 17 laps remain, and it still is going to be between these two at the top. Even if they have not got all too much in terms of distance, it looks like they're still the class of the field overall. But Wetmore has been running some monster laps. That time by, he ran a 111.66 compared to Seth Well and Renato Postigo, who both ran within the 112 category, and that's going to give Wetmore the opportunity to go and chase down his 5th win of the season. All of a sudden, he's in a very similar position to William Byron, looking for win number 5 at Watkins Glen, but we'll see whether or not this is a short-term burst and if it leads to a long-term fall-off in terms of tire. Right now, he is right there, but it looks like he's going to need a bit more out of Seth in terms of defense if he wants to put himself in the party in this podium. Looking on board with Wetmore, let's see what he can do to chase down the leaders. And gonna go nice and smooth through the entry and exit of the 90. Now going into the S's yet again. It looks like he still is quicker. That time by 2/10 of a second. But both drivers ahead of him are starting to get their bearings back in on this run. And that's going to be the death of this run. Indeed, if Tom Wetmore can't keep making big gains, he's gonna need mistakes in front of him. He's seen quite a few from both Renato and Seth in the previous laps. But now it looks like they're both going as quick as they possibly can, which is gonna give Wetmore a bit of a harder time if he wants to chase down that win for his own. 30 laps in, 16 laps remaining. Tom Wetmore going to take it through yet again, and he still is hard charging right behind the top two drivers. Seth Well still leads the way. Renato Postigo still holds his own in second, and Tom Wetmore occupies the third spot as they make it through turn 6 and then turn 7. It's going to be 15 laps remaining from this point onward. Let's get to it right again at the line. Start-finish line, that is. Seth Well leads, and it's going to be 15 laps left. It's Seth Well up in the top spot. Renato Postigo going to be in second. Tom Wetmore is third, and Guillermo Alvarez is in fourth. Sam Nito's fifth. Jacob Fife is in sixth, and Cody Smith, with 15 laps remaining, now runs seventh for Next Level Racing. Your second promotional break of the night brought to you by Next Level Racing, 2022 Integrity Racing League champion It is Cody Smith looking to go back-to-back this year. And who else to represent but the premier place for sim racing performance equipment. Next Level Racing is your one-stop shop for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. Be sure to check out their website after tonight's broadcast at nextlevelracing.com as we bring you your second promotional break of the night, courtesy of nextlevelracing.com. And as we return from our second promotional break, 14 laps remaining, and the leading battle has simmered down somewhat. Right now, Seth Well finds himself ahead with 14 laps to go. Tom Wetmore's out of the picture, and Renato Postigo goes wiggling, but keeps himself on the track. It's very, very close calls time after time. Michael McDowell recently described Watkins Glen driving at the fullest extent as ugly but fast, and it looks like right now these drivers are all out of control, and it's still working out very well. Pushing to the limits and maybe going a bit past that is exactly what you got to do in a very competitive field like this, and right now it's working wonders for Seth Well, who might be going a bit beyond what he thought he could do earlier in this race. Holding off against Renato Postigo is no small feat, and he's been able to prove his worth already in his first race of the year. Seth Well proving why he's a multi-time winner in the very same vein. Still, the number 9 machine leads the way with 13 laps to go. It's going to be a baker's dozen to do it, and it's Renato Postigo right behind, hoping to make it happen, but so far has not been able to make that perfect move to drop right down inside of Seth and get the race lead back. That can change, of course, but right now it has not. So it's going to be the 69 right down low. Then he'll try to take it up high yet again, and right now Seth Well is blocking every lane with ease. Take a look on board your second place driver and see what it's like battling for the win here at the Glen. And so far for Postigo, not able to make that big move, but he gets right up to the bumper yet again, just can't put it down and spin the number 9 machine. It looks like Seth keeps himself up in front as Renato looks down low. Does he choose to lunge it in? It looks like for now that he does not. Let's take a different perspective from the rear view camera of Seth Well. Looks like that time through the number 69 makes a mistake, but that's going to give him the opportunity to build up some momentum, which he has not had a chance to do in quite some time. When you're right behind a driver, you think you're quicker, then you're not really able to do much in terms of being quicker, especially if they can defend well. And right now, Seth is showing he can definitely do that, and then some. But Renato is using every inch of the track to get right back to him. Look at how quick he was through the bus stop. That gives him a chance immediately at the race lead again. That's exactly what you have to do in a situation like this. Pouncing on every opportunity, and he makes up so much time to the bus stop. It's like that mistake in turn 1 didn't happen at all. Just like that, the lead battle shrinks down to net 0, and Seth Well barely has an advantage. It looked like he had a shot to run away a bit more beforehand. Now it's close once again. Take a look at that. The top 2 drivers so evenly matched right now, giving Tom Wetmore a bit more opportunity to claw back in. But no use for now. It's still the top 2's game up in front. 11 laps to go this time by. Running out of time, both drivers up ahead are, and now Tom Wetmore's in third. Guillermo Alvarez is in fourth. Sam Nito goes way wide there and is barely able to keep it in control. What a save for Sam Nito. Loses him 1 spot, now going to put him in jeopardy of losing 2. But the number 2 Ford Mustang going to be all out of sorts, gets it back going. And how about that save? Sam puts it back in motion, and just like that, going to be able to hold it just ahead of Cody Smith. What a move there for the number 2 Shelby Cobra. We'll take a look further back and see exactly how he made it happen, and we'll try to take a look on board, as a matter of fact, to see exactly what was done inside the cockpit. And going way wide through turn 1, tries to put the power down immediately. Very delicate on the wheel just to keep it going. And gets it right back through the S's. Has the power. Cody Smith slowed down. And all of those very small moments lead up to defending that spot. 6th place is still Sam's, and what a save that was. It could have ruined his race. Instead, chooses to be a bit more patient with the car, and it pays off in dividends. 10 laps to go, still battling lap 36. Jacob Fife gets by for 5th, but no big deal, keeping the race intact for Sam as he now leads the biggest pack on the track with Cody Smith, Ross Cato, and Caitlin Haight. Caitlin able to put that damage out of her mind inside the 9th spot, now with a bigger pack, trying to chase down Ross Cato and Cody Smith. It's a bit more of a reality now, not much of fantasy beforehand, fighting to be just within the top 10. Now is a chance to go up there and even battle for the rank of 6th, maybe 5th if Jacob Fife made a mistake, but this entire pack is as close as it can get right now. A mistake could happen, and it could make major changes in the running order. So far it hasn't, but it still could come upon these drivers and change the way things have gone so far. Now, 9 machine of Seth Well up in front. Renato Postigo looks down low. No big move there. Make it 9 laps remaining. And Seth still leads the way. It's going to be a quarter of a second, time after time, every single point on the track. It's been the exact same distance between these two drivers. That's how close they are in terms of speed over the course of a lap. That time through, only 6/100ths of a second. Renato Postigo was indeed quicker, but the amount is so small it really doesn't mean anything in terms of a race like this. He's quicker, yes, but is this going to be enough? Down to the bottom side, entering the bus stop, it might be enough intimidation to make something work. Now Postigo's right on the back bumper yet again. Lap traffic is coming. What does Seth Well do? Can he use Randy Fiash as a pickoff here? Randy's in 14th, still on the lead lap, but that will change as the leaders are now just a few tenths of a second behind. The top drivers on the board are chasing lappers, and it could be the race-winning move for both of these guys, depending on which of them gets the better end of this situation. Renato gets loose that time by him. Now going to give himself a lot more room to chase down Seth. Is it enough? We'll see. Randy going to slow down, let the top two right by, and no worry anymore as the Philadelphia Eagles machine gets back on the way. Podium's out in front of him, and the lappers do not involve themselves in this race for now. Renato Postigo goes down to the bottom side, and it looks like he's in big trouble. Just like that, the number 69 gonna overshoot the first corner, and another mistake, a crucial mistake, very late in the going will cost the number 69 everything he had up in front. Take a look once again to find out what happened going through the 90. And it looks like for Postigo, he's gonna have to back it down, and it looks like he's gonna miss the corner entirely, but that's not entirely the reason. The reason for him slowing down so big was the bus stop. It looks like he clipped the grass just a bit too much for iRacing's liking, and that's gonna give him a major slowdown penalty. Just like that, the number 69 gonna be in 4th now. Guillermo Alvarez moves up into 3rd. Tom Wetmore is now in 2nd, and Seth Well leads the way with 7 laps remaining. How about the change in tone in this race? It looked like it would be dominance for Renato Postigo, but now he's struggling to get back up inside the podium. Alvarez is there in 3rd, and he wants to keep the hot streak going, looking for back-to-back podiums to make it his 3rd podium of the year, and now he's within striking distance of getting it done. Seth Well, 7 laps remaining, leads the way with Tom Wetmore second, Guillermo Alvarez then in third, and Renato Postigo now in fourth. It's Jacob Fife fifth, Sam Nito is in sixth, and holding off against Cody Smith, who is in the 7th position with 7 laps remaining. With such little time on the board, we'll bring you your final presentation from Next Level Racing very quickly to get you all back to the racing action here on FTN. Once again, high quality sim racing performance products by dedicated sim racers for dedicated sim racers who deserve nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com for further information about the Integrity Racing League's premier partner. We'd love to have you on board as a member of the Next Level Racing family. We'll be right back. And with 7 laps to go, we hope you enjoy our final presentation courtesy of Next Level Racing. Six laps remain here at Watkins Glen for round number 21 of the season. Cody Smith battling just outside of the top 5 right now, and the lead battle, what was oh so intense earlier in the going, has changed quite a bit. Seth Well finds himself in first by a wide margin. Tom Wetmore's in second, and now the battle for the final spot in the podium is brewing. Renato Postigo goes all the way down to the low line through turn 6, gets by Alvarez, and is clearly quick enough to get that spot right back. The 69 moves up into third now, and from what was a race-winning opportunity, still making the best of it and getting back within the podium. So 5.8 seconds away. Can Renato put enough down in terms of power to chase down Wetmore and Seth Well? It would take a miracle in terms of performance, but it still is technically possible. It is never over until the checkered flag falls, and so far Seth Well, while looking very good to take home his 4th win of the season, he still could be beaten by any other driver on the order. Tom Wetmore remains 2 seconds behind in the case a mistake happens with such little time left. Gonna have to remain there as cruise control is not on for him. He still has time to make up, time to gain indeed. But being second is another great points night for this number 51. Daytona looked to be another podium or even a race win, but he wasn't able to make it happen, and now is going to be on the outside looking in terms of being the sole leader of the wins category. He'll be sharing it with Seth Well at the end of the night if things go to plan for the number 9 Coca-Cola Chevy Camaro. So far, it looks like things have gone to plan for him. He's already locked in terms of points, and coming into the night, points were looking very, very different. I believe tonight, Caitlin Haight has a chance to lock herself in, but you'll see many drivers have already put themselves through the race win. Guillermo Alvarez just did a week ago, and only one driver right now with that win is not locked in, and it is Caitlin Haight still looking to get the minimum participation requirement over in this league, and it looks like tonight might be one of the final nights she's eligible to do so. So great to have her here as she'll look to lock herself in with likes of Tom Wetmore, of course Seth Well, drivers like Cody Smith, Nick Tarbuck, all in the hunt as well, and Ryan Farrell still sits on the bubble. Not the best night for him though, so it might put him in a bit more jeopardy. If he wants to make that championship run in the playoffs, he'll have to put it together next week. It's almost a now or never situation for him, as the playoffs are now just moments away, weeks away that is, and the regular season is dying down. 4 laps to go for Seth Well, coming to make it only 3. It's been a great run for him so far. He wasn't expected to be the dominant man tonight, but it looks like things have absolutely changed, and now he's got that lead, and it has been a very controlling lead from the moment he got it on the restart with 24 laps remaining to this point now. No other drivers had the chance to make a move on it, and Renato Postigo falls down into 11th. Another set of troubles, and now the number 69 puts himself further back in the field. What looked to be a dominant victory if he came home on top like he was in practice and qualifying. Now it's a question whether or not he gets inside the top 10. Alan Dobbs has been able to gain a spot. Caitlin Hayden is now in 9th. And there's still a very fierce battle between the likes of Cody Smith and Ross Cato. This is for position number 6. And for those watching on FTN right now, this is not the only broadcast on the channel. It is the Highline Racing League Culture Designs Truck Series that is going to be broadcasted at the same time. So when this broadcast is over, we will automatically redirect you to the next one on FTN to keep the viewing experience alive. So do stick around. There's still much more racing in mind here on FTN. It's going to be Bryce Hamrick on Christian Delgado, both on the call. It's a great race there as well at Daytona, so you don't want to miss a thing. As the racing is still alive here on FTN, I might be off for the night, but the channel certainly is not, as the season opener there is just getting started. Seth Wells still finds himself up ahead, advantageous with 2 laps to go. Tom Wetmore's in 2nd, it is Guillermo Alvarez in 3rd, and Jacob Fife then in 4th. Nick Tarbuck is 5th, and the top 5 is separate by now just under 15 seconds. It has been dominant so far ahead of the field, and Seth Well looking to come home on top. He's got one more lap machine to deal with. That is Ryan Farrell, and Farrell currently puts himself 16th, 6 laps down at the line. 2 laps to go. Both of these drivers working as hard as they can. One, of course, leading, and one just trying to stay alive in the hunt for the regular season. Conclusion, he'd love to be a top 12 driver, and right now for Seth Well, he'd love to be alone at the top. This will be win number 4 on the season if he seals the deal. 1 lap to go, this time by as Seth Well takes it to the white flag. This race is official. This is the final lap of competition. And now it's Seth at the top of the board alone by 2.5 seconds. He looks to be good to go to get that victory as long as he keeps it on the track. Going through the bus stop yet again, it's going to be just a few more turns until victory is his. Tom Wetmore, another very solid points night for him. 2nd place, continues his very strong run in the second half, and Guillermo Alvarez looking to back up the race victory with a very good run for him in a throwback paint scheme to the Frosted Flakes look of old. It's another great run for the Chevy Camaro who won just a week ago. Seth Well, coming out of the carousel, knows that road courses have been his thing all season long, but tonight he had to work for it. On the defense, the offense, the strategy, and the race pace, it was all about putting it together at the very end. And for the number 9 Coca-Cola Ultimate Machine, he puts together the ultimate performance in Watkins Glen and comes home with the race win. The checkered flag is out, and Seth Well wins the round 21 from Watkins Glen. And shades of William Byron immediately burns it down. And Seth going to be on a bit of a burnout tour here, so multiple celebrations at once. The number 9 gets it done and able to come home with his 4th win of the season, able to make it happen yet again. The checkered flag is his, and having a battle with the likes of Renato Postigo, Tom Wetmore, Jacob Fife, Guillermo Alvarez, all the drivers at the head of the field. He's the one who comes home victorious as he now goes through the S's with a good majority of the field. They all go through side by side. It is Seth Well who comes home on top, 3 seconds ahead of Tom Wetmore, with Guillermo Alvarez rounding out the top 3 with another podium finish. It's Jacob Fife 4th and Nick Tarbuck then in 5th, with Cody Smith in 6th, Ross Cato 7th, Caitlin Hayden 8th, and Sam Nito 9th, as Alan Dobbs holds on for the 10th position here in the Glen. It's going to be Renato Postigo in 11th and Jorge Canales in 12th, as Don Stevenson comes home 13th, and Randy Fiash, the first man 1 lap down, is in 14th. It's Boomer Logan who rounds out the top 15 with Ryan Farrell then 16th, and the retirees go as follows. Victor Avila Felix finishes in 17th, it's John Steele 18th, Jay Haishman in 19th, and Alan Rawell then in 20th. Kyle Cooper 21st, and Kyle Trudell is 22nd, and those two Kyles round out the field here tonight. Stick around on FTN as this broadcast will end. The next will begin on your screens. The Highline Racing League Truck Series is on the way for their first race at Daytona, and we have top 3 interviews coming up as well. Now time for the big burnout as Seth Well comes across to the start-finish line. And it looks like Seth Well gonna put it into the front stretch pit road wall, ending his celebration as the number 9 machine comes home on top here at the Glen. What a win for Seth Well, his 4th on the year, and he comes home on top here at the Glen, a road course winner yet again. We'll be right back after a brief promotional message courtesy of iRacing, and we'll return with your top 3 interviews, starting with your race winner, the number 9 of Seth Well. Thank you all for your support so far. Stick around for interviews and our next broadcast, and we'll be right back after this brief message.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And after a fantastic race in Schuyler County, Watkins Glen has a winner again in the Integrity Racing League, but tonight, with the Next Gens, we saw a much different performance. But it's a familiar winner, that's for sure. Seth Well back again in victory lane, and this time getting it done in upstate New York. It was twists and turns and strategy in terms of who you had to battle, but you made it work, defending till the very end and coming home on top. Once more, it's a victory for the number 9. How do you feel tonight?
We feel pretty good. Probably second on pace, but we were able to get lucky tonight. We've kind of had some bad luck here recently on the oval, so a little bit of luck on our side tonight's kind of nice. Sucks for Renato, and he had the pace definitely to win tonight, but that's why we do the race, and it's not just set up by qualifying.
And able to make it work much better in the race. There was between you and the number 69. It was Renato and, of course, your Chevy Camaro battling all throughout, but it looks like you were able to come home just a bit better in terms of results here. Pit strategy, very minimal, so what really kept you up in front in terms of winning this one?
I mean, once he lost, I think it was his pedals went out. Before we all did our green flag stops, that kind of gave me control over the race, and then that point I was just kind of chilling in front of him, I guess, and just hoping I could hold on as long as I could. And then I don't know, it was 10 to go or so, and that's when his pedals failed again. So I mean, just way of the road, I guess. We finally got some luck on our side this week and able to finish strong with a win.
Getting a win just before the playoffs, some big momentum, which is of course especially valuable with the playoffs and the championship chase in mind. Now, we've seen our fair share of exciting races as of recent, going to Daytona just a week ago. Now here at the road courses, as we pull up our schedule, there's a lot to be excited for with the remainder of the season. Next up, it's going to be Texas Motor Speedway. Not a fan favorite, admittedly. What's it going to take for you to come back to victory lane, this time at an oval?
I don't know. We'll see. It's definitely not my favorite track, that's for sure. But we'll see. I was okay there earlier this season when we did FTF there, so we'll see how it plays out, I guess. We'll see where our pace stacks up against everyone else and see how it plays out.
And hoping to make it happen in Texas, it's a great road course run for the number 9 of Seth Well, and the Coca-Cola Ultimate Chevy Camaro comes home on top. Anything else you'd like to add after tonight's race?
Appreciate Cosmo making this scheme. Nailed it. Beautiful paint scheme. We've been running this for a couple weeks now, and here as well as FTF. Appreciate the Nexus boys. Appreciate the broadcast tonight. And that's it. What we got?
There we have it. Seth Well comes home on top here, round 21 of the season at Watkins Glen, a road course winner here in the Coca-Cola machine. Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it, David.
Seth Well going to be on the way, first yet again, which puts him in a tie for the most wins this season with who else but the number 51 of Tom Wetmore. Second place today here at Watkins Glen, able to battle fiercely and come home with that podium. How was it managing the race all night long and eventually getting a very strong result?
Man, these road courses take it out of you. Left, right, braking zones. Oh, and by the way, don't miss one because the car behind you, you'll fall right into their clutches. So fortunately, this is the first ever top 5 for a road course for the Tube Tech Chevy Camaro. We typically don't know what we're doing when it comes to turning right, and if we're going to turn right, it all goes wrong. But tonight we were able to put it on a podium. Was able to pit before the stage there and gain some track position. And unfortunately, Renato ran into some tough luck with some equipment, so we were able to leapfrog him into second there and hold off a charging Guillermo. Man, that 83 car is always a force to be reckoned with on these road courses. But at the end of the day, I got to battle Seth for most wins this season, and he put another one in the belt tonight. So congratulations to him and all his team over there.
And able to make it happen here with a very strong result. It was not all too much about strategy, but about the drivers, of course, you had to battle with. Very strong runs from drivers like Guillermo Alvarez, Ronaldo Postigo, of course, Seth, who won. So what was it for you that kept you in the mix with these guys? You got to be very aware of the road course. You mentioned it. You can't miss a braking zone. You got to hit those marks, and with drivers around you, that's pretty tough. So how was it sort of understanding that and working with that as the night went on?
We were fortunate. We had some time with the Full Throttle Real Sim Racing boys last night to put some laps down on this track. So practice makes perfect. So when you know where your braking zone is coming into tonight, we unloaded. We were a little bit slow, but it's like, hey, we're not as slow as we think we are. So it gave us some confidence coming into the start there, and was able to gain some track position early, put us in position to be able to battle. And when Renato and Seth got after it, I thought we might have a shot at it. But when Renato let Seth breathe a little bit, unfortunately, that meant we weren't going to run him down, man. But it was hard on the tires, hard on the body tonight with all the force feedback that comes from these Moser wheels and pedals. So definitely going to need a drink of water after this.
And even though we weren't able to grab another win, a solid finish yet again, great points tonight, and another confidence booster moving into the playoffs very soon. Now Texas is up next. Not a fan favorite, I mentioned to Seth just a few moments ago, but what's it going to take for you to make another strong run of it there?
Well, we're a whole lot better at turning left than right, David, so we'll unload at Texas fast, I'm confident, but racing there will be certainly about managing your tires and being able to be there at the end and not make any dumb moves that cost you early. So keep the car damage free, last till the end, put yourself in a top 5 position and see if you can't win one. Hoping to put another win in the belt for this Tube Tech Camaro. And hey, I know what we have to do to be able to get that. Unfortunately, if it all goes wrong, we got the protection of Robin Steele attorneys at law to back us up.
It's a drive for 5 victories on the year. Tom Wetmore's put quite a few in already, and another very solid finish gives him a podium here at the Glen. Any final thoughts to wrap off the interview?
No, I appreciate it, Dave. Appreciate you guys hosting. Got to thank, of course, the league, Integrity Racing League, for putting these on. Man, it means a lot to be able to run these races clean and green, and have no less for the expectations for next week at Texas.
And there we have it. Tom Wetmore concludes another very solid run as the two-tech Chevrolet comes home second here at the Glen. Thank you for your time. And Wetmore going to be back on the move. The final man inside your podium. Another very strong run. Back-to-back podiums, so it looks like the road courses are the wheelhouse for the 83. Guillermo Alvarez, third place, once again inside the top three. How do you feel after the night?
It was nice. Pretty much the fourth fastest, so I think that's just about the only thing that was good, because Renato had pretty much everyone by the end. Seth also had a great run, and Tom, he suddenly got good at turning right, so that was nice.
And it looks like even though you said some drivers, certainly the class of the field up in front, were able to manage it a bit better here to just come home at the end with the top three. Now, not much change when it comes to tire strategy. Most drivers on the same situation, but it looks like for you, you had to battle quite a lot, clawing through the field, battling earlier before our caution, even later on, and you still came home with that podium. So you were, of all the top three, most involved with the action. How was it trying to avoid any trouble with drivers?
It was just the start. These cold tires are terrible when you're trying to push into corners. So either it gets loose or goes straight into the wall. So I was just fighting with that the first lap. So it's just terrible with the cold tires.
And despite some tire trouble, still here with a top three at the end of the day. Texas up next, looking to go for 3 podiums in a row, and it's been a very strong run for you as of recent. You think you can do it at Texas?
No, I wish Texas gets destroyed. That place needs to be demolished. So I'm not expecting that much.
And not many Texas fans, so it looks like you're, of course, one of those against the track as well. Either way, putting some great runs in just before the playoffs. Guillermo Alvarez, third place on the podium again. Any final thoughts?
No, I just want to thank you guys for the broadcast, the league, and the Mancuy Motorsports. We had kind of a good run today with Renato, but just don't, if you're trying to get into sim racing, just don't buy Thrustmaster. They suck.
There we have it, the number 83 of Guillermo Alvarez, a warning and a great result. It's the 83, third place here at the Glen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys.
And Alvarez going to be on the way. The final man inside the podium was Guillermo Alvarez third, Tom Wetmore second, and Seth Well as your race winner. Tell you what, on FTN right now, if you're still watching, there's a great race going on. Stick with us. We're automatically redirecting you to all the action. Thank you for watching so far. The night's not over on FTN. Thank you, though, for spending some time with me on this Tuesday night as the Highline Racing League will take you from here. As always, I've been your host for tonight's broadcast, David Kreutz, and your support is always greatly appreciated. From our studios to your homes, we hope you enjoyed tonight's race here in the Integrity Octane Series and hope to see you back tomorrow night for the Foro Cup Series All-Star Race for Season 3. Thank you all for your support once again, and we hope to wrap things up neatly here and bring you to the next broadcast. Once again, thank you for your support, and we hope to see you as a viewer yet again on FTN.